I know,
No, I
right?
was telling Adrian, I had a Google sheet that like archives all the podcasts we've done, like episode 1, title, who we picked, and this, and that. Fucking gone. So
So like our draft picks and everything
our
are gone?
draft picks, yeah, and what I used to draft and just all that, yeah.
So now to recover it, he would have to listen to each podcast. I said, cool. While you're doing that, you can like grade us and rate us from.
Yeah, because you know damn well I haven't written anything down.
This is our job performance review. No.
Yeah.
It was a separate sheet that I like would update with like who
No, but
we
you
have
know what I mean?
stock
Like
in.
I haven't written down who I've drafted.
Right.
Yeah,
No,
we know. You can't even remember what order it went in when you tell us.
Yeah. That's why I made this sheet, because I figured we gotta
Yes.
capture this somehow.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome to Seen This. We are back after a lovely break. I was gone in England. Erica slightly under the weather. Adrian raising a family. But I am the movie Mamba, Michael Ornelas, and talk about fighting depression. Am I right? The feisty Pisces, Erica McMullen, with us today.
Bucky Barnes.
And the Gerber baby-faced assassin, Adrian Cedeno.
I think I need a hug.
Yeah, that's, who would have thought a hug saves us all? That's all in reference to our movie today, Thunderbolts, or if you've seen it in the past couple days, it's now called The New Avengers. Have you guys seen this? See how they changed the marketing like after the first weekend?
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I don't know how I feel about that. You know, I mean, and for the most part, I'm not sure how the comics do that, because like I wonder if it is like a joke that's within the comics that they call themselves the New Avengers after that. Like I don't really know if that's a thing or not. But I actually really resent that.
Yeah, sure.
Really
Well, I think
resent
it's just, I mean, we'll dive in a little further, but you know, that's kind of a review spoiler of things that happened in the movie for those that haven't seen it yet. But maybe it brings more appeal to people to be like, oh, Avengers, I recognize that. Now I'll go watch it. Before we get to all that, we've had a busy couple weeks here. What have we been seeing? What have we watched? Have you seen this week? Seen the last couple weeks? Adrian, kick us off. What have you seen this week?
Ooh, so last couple weeks, I finished Reservation Dogs.
Love it.
Amazing, wonderful. I think it was on point. Easily my favorite show right now. Definitely top 5 all time.
Two seasons or 3 seasons? I don't remember.
3.
It's 3 seasons. You finished all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, I told you like it. It's a good show, man.
I almost wanted it to end after season 2. Like, oh man, this ends perfect. Like, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, closure, boom, done. And they were like, wait, season 3? Like, okay. And I like how it went even deeper into their traumas and actually healing it. And then you get the closure at the end. I dug it. I really enjoyed it.
Really good show. I can't imagine anyone not liking that show.
Yeah, It was. I recommended it to Anthony, my son. Told him, hey, you need to check out this show. I think you'll dig it. You and your goofy friends will, you'll relate to it. And then I revisited 28 Days Later. Just getting prepped and ready for 28 years later. So yeah, I'm gonna sometime later this week, maybe on my flight, since I'll be doing some traveling next week. I'll try to catch up with 28 months later. Or weeks. 28 weeks. 28 weeks later. Yeah.
They skipped months.
Yeah.
They skipped months. They had 28 weeks later on my flight to and from England. I was out there, incredible trip. And I thought about watching it, but I haven't seen 28 Days Later. I was like,
yeah, you have to.
I got to watch that one first. Yeah. So that honestly, I'll probably try to watch that this week. I need to watch. It's been on my list.
That's actually really bold to watch a movie like that on the flight.
Your way to England.
Hear me out, right? Hear me out. You're watching essentially like zombies take over, and you're in a flight, so like you don't know if you land, if zombies are gonna be waiting for you.
And it takes place in like England.
Yeah, that's right. I went to a few of the places where it was filmed at. I mean, obviously, there's like the major places like Big Ben, and that's in like all the English films. But yeah, I had that on my list of like, oh, that was filmed here as well. And I imagine 28 Weeks was also filmed. Does that also take place in England, or is that somewhere else?
I haven't
Oh, you
seen it
haven't
yet.
seen it. Okay.
Somewhere else.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Sounds like great watches for the past couple of weeks. One that I love and one that I look forward to watching. Erica, what have you watched the past couple of weeks?
Um, I went to Disneyland recently,
Lovely.
Boo
and I got
earns.
to watch the new Star Wars show that they have in Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, like the
What did you think of it?
It was okay. I think I was expecting a little bit more just because I know how much Disney can do and how much they like their shows have always been like amazing, you know what I mean? And it was subpar.
is it an
3 out of 5.
evening light show or
It's the
Uh,
evening light show, and it's essentially just like a recap of Star Wars that they have like
okay?
projected onto like the side of the mountain. But like some of the instances were really cool, like watching Obi-Wan and Anakin fight on Mustafar, like was really
Mm.
cool how they did it. Seeing Luke and Yoda training on Dagobah was really cool. But for the most part, it was really underwhelming. So I was kind
That's
of
tough.
upset about it. So if you have an opportunity to go see it and there's a short line for a ride, just go on the ride instead.
How was Disney? Had you been there in a while, or I mean, have
I
you been
have
since you've
not
been
been to
back south?
Disneyland in probably about 5, 6 years, maybe like 4 or 5 years,
Okay,
closer to
so
that,
you'd
maybe.
been since like Star Wars Land was made, or
Yeah, I am lucky to have a friend who has a connection through Disneyland, so he and I go every now and then when we have opportunities to get together. So I had been there since Galaxy's Edge, but this was essentially like the last time all of my family was probably going to be able to get together and do
everybody went.
this. So my Aunt Bertie, my Aunt Marty, my Aunt
Awesome,
Izzy,
shout
my
out.
Aunt, we all went, my cousins and stuff, all the girls. We don't
What a
invite the boys.
sure,
We don't
sure.
invite the boys along with us. They're
I'm sure.
killjoys.
I'm sure it was a great time. Last time I went, I definitely was the first time at like the Disneyland or the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. But the one thing I
Yeah.
didn't do is apparently the best thing, which is the Rise of the Resistance, maybe, or what's
So
it
the
called?
Resistance is
Yeah,
it's
I hear
the
it's
coolest
incredible.
ride. I mean, regardless of how you feel about the new films and where they play in the Star Wars universe, it's phenomenal. Like they went all out for this, and I'm actually really upset that you didn't get to
Yeah,
go on
yeah,
it.
yeah. Something to look
Yeah.
forward to, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's a great segue into what I seen this week or last week. While I was in England, there was a re-release of Pink Floyd live at Pompeii. You guys, people that know me, know Pink Floyd's my number one band, and I felt very conflicted because part of my trip I went to different landmarks of Pink Floyd, the school that they met at, Abbey Road where they recorded Dark Side of the Moon, the Battersea Station where the Animals cover was photographed. And I was like, am I going to really spend an hour and a half, 2 hours in a movie theater while I'm traveling in England? So fucking glad I did.
Worth it. Yeah, worth it.
I went to the biggest IMAX screen in the UK. It was fucking massive at a 10 a.m. showing. The median age is probably like 57, 60,
so you
some
fit
older
right
heads
in.
there. So I fit, those are my people. Yeah, I fit
You
right
and
in.
your old timers.
And not just the visual of seeing live at
You
Pompeii, which is
whippersnappers.
not just seeing the visual, but the sound in that theater. This is a concert that
Yeah.
they did to an empty stadium in Pompeii where the volcano erupted and essentially the whole city is just encased in like ash and ruin and everything. So they did a concert there as they were making Dark Side of the Moon. So that kind of overlaps that time period. Just fucking awesome time to see that band and to see that movie
I
re-released.
mean, especially coming off Sinners as our last episode, I really like thinking of like them playing music for like all of the people who died in Pompeii. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
sure.
I think that's like really cool to think about, you know?
It's a similar like energy, like with what happens in Sinners, which we won't spoil for those that haven't seen it. This is in the Sinners episode.
Oh my
Watch,
God, absolutely killing it in the box office too. I'm so
fucking crushing
happy.
it. Back in IMAX
Oh yeah.
upon popular demand. If you haven't seen Sinners, go watch it. Then listen to our previous
Yeah.
pod. So
And
that
you want to know what's really nice about that too? Having Sinners come out, doing phenomenal, and then having Thunderbolts come out and then do its own success like separately and like still have Sinners get the hype and,
and not lose
credit it
momentum.
deserves.
I think
Yeah, not lose momentum, still kill it, maybe a little bit of momentum, but they've already, like, way surpassed
Is
anything
expectation.
that they
Thunderbolts
hoped
considered like
movie.
successful? Like, it's like doing well?
It's I think it'll at least break even. It sounds like.
I
So
think it already has broken
has it?
even.
Oh, well, great.
Yeah, so
If we had the internet at our fingertips, we could confirm that. But maybe I'll check on that when we talk a little bit more about Thunderbolts. And just one last thing that I saw after that experience, I saw that they were playing Revenge of the Sith for the 20th anniversary.
actually hella mad that you
Dude,
got to go. I wish I
and
would have
that
went.
it was like polar opposite. That show was at 10 o'clock at night. So I'm like, oh, it's gonna be like when it came out. You're there late at
Yeah.
night to watch the fucking movie. It was incredible. I will say it is CGI heavy, and on a big screen like that, you can definitely see a lot more of the CGI. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, by the time you get to like the fight and the Emperor reveal, like once that all starts
You
going
really
down,
are only watching Revenge of the Sith for 3 things, right? For Obi-Wan and Anakin's fight, for Yoda and Palpatine's fight, and to watch Mace Windu get thrown off the building.
no, Anakin, he's the evil one. Yeah, I mean, there's some questionable acting also. But what I found fascinating is in this showing, I was the older guy. Like everyone there was like 25, 30 maybe, and I was talking to
Well,
some
think about that though. Like they would have been what,
babies,
5 years old when it
babies.
came out, so they probably
Everyone
weren't going to go see that movie.
I talked to a half a dozen people, and all of them, it was their first time seeing the movie on the big screen, which like just so awesome that like we need, like we were saying before
That's
with
so
Interstellar, I
magical.
think you need more movies to like come out that were older that you didn't get a chance to see on the big screen. So, super
And
awesome.
Jurassic Park, the original Jurassic Park, when if that shit comes back on for their 30 or whatever, I think their 30th 30 pass for like their 40th, I'm going to the theater.
Yeah, I mean, that's another great example of like you had to be there
Yeah.
to see on the big screen. It's a great movie when it's on TV every fucking day, but on the big screen, it's fucking awesome. Um, but yeah, I thought that was a great. I had no regrets either way. I spent 2 of my outings in England in a movie theater, but it's great. Went to a wedding. Shout out Andy and Emmy. Congratulations. Went to the village side of
I
England
also
up
went
north.
to a wedding.
Incredible.
Shout out to Angel and Nate.
Everyone's getting married this year. It's all happening. I got
Ugh.
another one coming up. Shout out Brian and your wedding in Florida and Ellen. Shout out. But let's get to our review of Thunderbolts.
Have you seen this?
Have you seen it?
Have you seen this?
I know, I've seen this. I know this.
High level, what were your thoughts? Erica, start us off. What did you think of Thunderbolts? Or actually, let me take a step back. What's your relationship with Marvel? And then you can segue.
My relationship with Marvel is that everything that was part of the Infinity Saga was amazing.
Sure, sure.
I think I had a really hard time. I think if we've talked about it before too, when the shows came out and having to keep up with different characters and them adding a lot of stuff, and then you having to watch the show in order to know what happens to certain things and certain characters. I'm way behind. So I'll
Okay.
just say that.
Okay.
I am not up to date on Marvel. However, like I said, I'll never pass up a chance to see Bucky Barnes
I
in a
see.
film.
That's your boy, Sebastian Stan or Bucky
That's
Barnes
my
specifically?
boy,
Okay.
dude. I enjoy everything he's in. Like he's talented. And even I know Scorsese came out there and said some things about, comic book hero movies and, the nostalgia of things. But, to be able to play a character that so many people grew up loving as a comic book, like in the comic book, like loving the character, like really like going hard for all of these characters and to see the people do an amazing job of acting as those people. I think Sebastian Stan just does a really good job. And you just see so much growth in his character specifically. Like Bucky goes through hell and back like 5 million times. So it's like to see him in this role was really fun.
So we understand you like Sebastian Stan, Bucky Barnes. How about the movie itself?
The movie itself, I was actually really surprised with. I wasn't
Okay.
expecting a lot, to be
Pleasantly
honest.
surprised?
Yeah,
Or
I was
yeah, okay.
pleasantly surprised because I think with such a problem, and I think it's just a franchise thing when you get a franchise like this that gets big and everybody gets excited and everybody wants to compare it to the comics. Well, that didn't happen here and that didn't happen here. Instead of like just finding the entertainment in a movie that's action, it's comic book, like you need to expect an action in comic book and maybe not so good writing and maybe just a little bit more of fun and goofiness, and I think that that was brought to the table here, and I found myself being happy leaving the theater.
Sure.
We call them
Adrian,
brain off movies, right?
your favorite. Well, I'll make a comment on that shortly. Adrian, what's your relationship with Marvel? I don't feel like you're deep into the Marvel lore.
I'm not. I never really thought about which side of the fence I was on, like Marvel or DC, until Anthony asked me. And I couldn't care less. They're both cool. Uh, they're both cool in their sense, and they're right. Like I liked certain DC concepts and characters and movies, and then there's others I really don't like, and then there's some Marvels that I really don't like.
So
This seems,
bipartisan of you.
yeah, this wasn't one of my favorites. I'm like Erica, I fell off. I haven't kept up. I didn't know there was a new Captain America and that it was, a Russell. But whatever. It was cool.
Well, he's not Captain America.
Right.
I didn't understand all that. See, so I wasn't even up on that game.
Yeah, so see, like that's the hard part, right? So like I was saying, we're meant to keep up with all of these shows, with all of these movies, and they're owned by Disney, so they need to like pump out, shows and all of these things at a pretty quick rate to keep people interested in the stories that are happening. And you get a few good here and there and you get a lot of characters that you end up liking, but it's just so difficult to they did so good with the Infinity Saga. You know what I
Sure.
mean? Like just having the original Avengers and having all of that play out the way it did, whether it was kismet, whether it just, happened the way it happened, it's really hard to recreate that again when our expectations are so high with what they gave us with the Infinity Saga.
Yeah, I think just the way they handled everything post Endgame, just really fragmented the fandom, right? From going to television now, we're gonna expand the story on
Yeah.
TV, so you got to jump on the Disney Plus and watch that if you want to keep up. And then they had like the Black Widow movie, which I think
It did Scarlett Johansson dirty, let me tell you.
well, they're trying to get rid of her.
If she would have had more movies, we would have been they could have done it a lot better for
Their
her.
execution post Endgame, just as a whole, that being an example,
Execution
made it hard.
post Endgame was not the best.
So Adrian, just to clarify, you enjoyed it? Didn't enjoy it? You thought I kind of got lost in the sauce.
I wasn't a fan.
Not a fan. Okay,
So-
I see
lovely.
that.
I would say they were trying to do. It's always a battle between DC and Marvel, right? Like they always have like characters that are kind of competing for what's better, right? Like Superman and Batman, and then you have all of X-Men. Like they just
Sure.
kind of rival each other, right? And some movies, like some of the Superman movies, were better than, say, some of the old Batman movies. But also with Marvel, you had some of like the original
Spider-Man,
Spider-Man
Iron Man,
movies,
yeah.
right, were better than their counterparts for DC. And in this sense, I think DC's version was better.
Suicide Squad, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
pretty much. Yeah. I
No.
thought that's a bit of a take.
Bit of a stretch.
No way.
Everyone, you know, I
Maybe the
think
second Suicide Squad, but again, it was
The
done by a
2016 one. The
I don't know who.
2016 one would have been the one that had Will Smith, but Jared Leto, Margot Robbie. Yeah,
Yeah, you're
That's
right.
that
so
was.
crazy. That's so crazy because the second Suicide Squad is the better movie.
Maybe you haven't seen it. I think that was like 28. It came out.
The
Yeah, I haven't
Suicide
seen it.
Squad, that's the one that James Gunn ended up doing.
Right, and now he's in charge of the DC.
And it was infinitely better than the first one. So I would have agreed with you if you would have said the one with like Idris Elba
That's
is
the
better.
2021 version.
Correct.
I haven't seen that one.
Definitely.
There I go.
Yeah.
My relationship with Marvel. Thanks for asking. I'm
Michael?
Yeah, thank you. Similar to you, Erica, I followed like I wasn't really deep into it until about maybe Infinity War, and just before that came out, I did like some recon, and I went back and watched all the Iron Man and the Thor and the whatever. And Endgame was great. Like I could still watch Infinity War and Endgame, and I still find that enjoyable. And then I saw the latest Spider-Man, and that's about it, which I think was No Way Home there's two I think that have come out. The one that brought back all the old villains and folks, Toby, reuniting of them, right, was the last one. And then before that was with Mysterio, our boy Donnie Darko as
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. But anyways, so like I'm sure you guys seeing this movie, I definitely felt a bit detached as far as like knowing who some of these characters are. The movie does make an effort to kind of give you exposition in the first like 45 minutes of who everyone is, very vaguely, but enough to kind of get you through the movie. And I went into this just, why did I watch this? I don't know. It's a new movie. We do a podcast on new movies. If it wasn't that, I don't know if I would have seen it already. I might have waited for the stream. You know what I mean? But overall, I'll say that it has the bones and strong bones of this type of movie. It's a good movie for this type of movie. And I'm actually going to bring in my guest at this point, because I think he has a great way of responding to the climax of the movie. And it won't give anything away, and then we'll jump into spoilers. But I'm going to introduce my friend Anger from Inside Out. This is from the trailer, so please excuse some of the music. But this is how I felt. And that's it. Don't touch me. The anger part of me is that this movie was really, like I said, about fighting depression. And that's not really giving too much away. So we'll dive into spoilers to talk more freely.
Spoiler alert.
The whole climax, the big battle, is a group hug that solves the day.
I wasn't happy with that.
It's like it was. I appreciate thinking outside the box. I appreciate like trying to talk about the psychological
outside of
demons.
box, because it felt very much Disney. Like a tear runs down her cheek, and it touches and lands there, and that's the only thing that lights them up, and they're back to life.
Yeah. I mean, I start there because I feel like that's what rubs up against me wrong, as far as like when that happened, something hit me like, fuck, they're doing this, like they're really leaning into the corn to the cheese.
Here's the biggest issue that I have. I get it's probably just a Marvel thing, because we know he's gonna come back. So like we know he's gonna be valuable.
Sorry, to clarify, you're saying he. Who are we talking about? Lewis Pullman, the Void, and Sentry.
Yeah, Void.
Bob?
Yeah,
Bob. Robert.
It's so funny because he was just in a movie where he played Bob, and he was like, "Can I not be named Bob?" And they're like, "We can't change the comic."
Shout out Lewis Pullman, looking exactly like his dad. Like, there's so many times I was like,
Shook.
I was like, wow, the AI technology for de-aging finally worked on Bill Pullman. No, it's his
I
son
was
Lewis.
like,
Same
get
mannerisms.
Casper, get a reboot of Casper with that boy. Like, you look just like him. Like, for real.
That's fun. Of all the movies, Bill Pullman, you're like, get me
No,
Casper. Get me Casper. Sorry, you were saying about the Marvel thing.
I know. No, so like the problem with these movies, and especially in this, like, moving forward and, building a new universe, building new stories, and, going into a different, number of comics. So instead of like Earth 838, we're going into like different Earths and stuff like that. And they're trying to bring everything together for Avengers Doomsday, which I 100% get, but it really fucks up movies like this with giving us a shitty ending like that, because they're really just trying to preserve how we feel about him for the future movies. That's how I
Like they're
felt.
holding back. Like
That's
they're
how I
holding
felt
back.
in the whole movie, where it was just like one giant setup. Whereas like in the other movies, you got like a complete full story that also led into led to something else, versus like
Right.
we're just gonna like, simmer you here so that you're ready for anything that comes after this movie.
I didn't mind that it was relatively self-contained outside of like knowing the further background on like who everyone is, how did they get here, whatever. And I think that's the challenge the movie has, and you felt it in, like I said, the first 45 minutes. I'd say the movie doesn't really pick up until David Harbour gets on the scene driving through the desert in the limo and like just
He's
calling out for
great.
them.
I
He is
fucking love him as Alexi. I love it so much.
he is the only one acting in the right movie. Like, I think this movie is that tone and he's locked in. Everyone else is skating around it, but he's got the assignment
Which
right.
is really frustrating, because if you know the background of, if you've seen the movies and shows that these characters are from, all of them have been in some kind of depressive
Sure.
state. So it's
Everybody.
like,
Yeah,
you got to play into that,
sure. Yeah.
you know?
Like I said, the movie was really trying to do a lot of heavy lifting and explaining who everyone is. Taskmaster, which apparently was killed in the first battle scene, which was a pretty gnarly battle scene. I liked Ghost, who kind of disappears as she fights, right? I didn't know anything about any of these characters. Did any of them stand out to you, Adrian?
I still
Like,
don't know any of them.
but in that fight, like, is there
You don't
one
know
person that
Bucky?
like caught your attention? Yeah, you don't know Bucky, Sebastian Stan?
I mean, I know
I'm like,
Bucky.
he's the one
I know
who's been
Bucky.
around. He's the one
Captain
who's been around
America.
since
Yeah, it's
2012.
Captain America's best friend.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Nah, it didn't really strike me. Like none
Stout.
of it. Yeah, I liked
Stout.
Ghost. Ghost kind of got me. Just because she can disappear, bounce in and out.
She got the least amount of playtime, like she did
Mhm,
airtime,
mhm.
that they kind of did it injustice to her. Yeah. Excuse
David
me.
Harbour was
Which is
my
so
favorite.
wild, because that's the same thing that happened in Ant-Man 2. They just
Yeah,
didn't
really.
give her enough. They didn't give her enough, you know what I mean?
And that's the thing, is like we've probably mentioned like 3 different things between Ant-Man 2, Captain America and the Winter Soldier, or no, sorry, what's the one with Anthony Mackie that came out? Brave New World, the movie
Haven't seen it.
with Harrison
Yeah.
Ford as the Red Hulk. Yeah,
Red Hulk.
Yeah, that's
like
correct.
if you, I'm curious, someone that's completely caught up their experience of this movie. We should have. I don't know who that is. I don't have any guests to come on that have seen everything like that. But
I don't
it
know if
may
I
like, I
know
don't know if,
anybody that's like, been completely caught up,
but that's a
even
testament of like their strategy of trying to like now put this movie out to, again, like you said, prep it for Doomsday, but still have a level of assumption of what's going on here.
I
I
mean, I
feel
think
like
it was just so. Sorry, what were you gonna say, Adrian?
trying to juggle like them trying to create a whole new Star Wars universe and then trying to still create this whole new Marvel universe is just a lot that maybe they're having a hard time navigating through that because it's I feel
They
like they're
just need
losing
to
it.
give Dave
They lost me.
Filoni and Jon Favreau, just like give them all the reign for Star Wars and then leave them be.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Andor season 2 just started that bad boy up. Ooh, god damn, it's good.
I heard it kills too.
Yeah,
I heard it's
well,
great.
apparently it's
Gotta stop.
already at like episode 9 of season 2, so no
Yeah.
spoilers.
I don't know. I think my issue is that when the shows started coming out, right? So we ended up getting like Loki, WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then Captain America and the Winter Soldier. And so we got these really great shows about characters that we already knew, right? And then we didn't get anything about really anybody else. I mean, we got new people, but we didn't really get any of the old people. And then when like Multiverse of Madness came out, and then we found out that, you know, the directors and writers and stuff hadn't even watched WandaVision.
Right.
It's like, okay, so why are we wasting our time coming to see these movies if you guys aren't even as invested as the fans are?
You know,
You know?
the past several months have just shown what a sham fucking infrastructure is, from our government to the Academy not watching movies that they vote on.
Oh,
To,
it just
like,
grinds my gears.
everyone's full of shit. Anyways, that's quite tangent.
I'm gonna call you guys out on your guys' shit and be like, have you guys been listening to the podcast after we film and after it airs?
Yeah.
Mhm. Sure.
You guys listen to the whole thing.
I listened to I
You
cut
do,
the
like,
shit.
yeah.
I'm behind like 3 episodes, but I listen.
Well, what's that have to do with anything?
You guys are calling out the Academy for not watching movies that they judge. You're calling out.
That's different than watching.
We're not giving out prestigious awards here. We're not giving out awards to people for their outstanding Academy performances. They are without even watching the freaking movie.
Here's the equivalent, Adrian.
Listening to us.
The equivalent would be like, hey, we're doing an episode on Thunderbolts, and then we didn't watch it, and we're here talking about Thunderbolts, which one of these days I feel like you might try to do. But anyways, no, well, I was pointing to Adrian. Sorry, that side of the screen. No.
Yeah, no, I can't tell. You're just pointing at the screen.
I know the old book report, Cliff Note trick.
You don't even
okay,
have to do that anymore. ChatGPT tells you everything.
There you go.
Stop ChatGPT.
Someone on Instagram recorded on their story that they're listening to an AI podcast, and I told her, you are not helping. You're we're not even in business, but you're putting us out of business. But anyways, back to Thunderbolts. It sounds like we've been kind of harsh on it. I want to provide some positive.
Okay, I'll provide a positive.
Okay,
Florence Pugh. There you go. There's your positive, dude.
Here's a take.
Okay.
She's incredible in Midsummer.
Okay.
Outside of Marvel, I need more examples for
Little
her
Women.
to be. Okay, I haven't seen it. That's the Greta one, right? The newer one. I'll watch
Little Women.
Okay.
Go watch it. You'll change your tune.
Challenge accepted.
I'll report.
She's also in another horror film. It's kind of like a B-rated horror film. It's called Malevolent.
Sure.
Saw her in that.
So, okay, granted, Little Women, but I have seen her in
like
Dune.
Snow White?
No,
is
that's
that what you're talking about?
Maleficent.
That's Maleficent.
Okay. You guys have me tripping.
But
that's a horror movie? Like, no way.
She's in Dune. She's in Oppenheimer. I've seen her in both of these and wasn't necessarily.
Don't worry, darling.
Blown away. With the
The
golden
movie
horse.
sucks, but Florence Pugh's performance is phenomenal.
I'm not mad at her. I guess I guess what I would say is she is a talent, and I want to see her talents outside of Marvel because that's what she deserves, is more than just Marvel. And again,
Little Women.
We've seen some projects, and I'll watch Little Women.
Little Women.
Well, it sounds like we know who you're drafting. So Florence Pugh was good. Lewis Pullman. I thought was incredible. You know, I saw him in Twisters. He was in that. I saw him in something else, but just uncanny his mannerisms and some of his facial expressions that it legit looks like his dad. And this is
Wyatt Russell, man, just looking like their dads out here.
Yeah, and Wyatt Russell's character is kind of the asshole of the group.
Redeemed himself, though. You know, he kind of grows on you in this film. In the show, you hate him. You
Really, huh?
absolutely despise at the end of the show, I wish I never
Not a
saw him
fan.
ever again on the screen.
So his
I mean,
Saw him
that's
in
family.
this
So
because
movie.
you're kind of an asshole.
yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
he
I
is.
mean,
No, he totally is.
and we're to take away that like he's a bit of an alcoholic and like his family left him, or he left his family, right? Something along those
Oh, his
lines.
family left him. Essentially, he takes the super soldier serum, and you know how it's supposed to enhance who you are. He's just
Mm,
a piece of shit. So it enhances
checks out.
that.
Checks out.
Yeah.
I thought
That's why Steve Rogers was like the asterisk, because he was just essentially like an actual genuine soul until he left Bucky to fend for himself for the
Like
rest of his life.
Hacksaw Ridge.
so. Your favorite movie? I think the movie starts to get to a sweet spot once we see Bob learn about his powers, right? He essentially, there's something with him. We don't know what it is. He just kind of shows up and then he blasts off into the sky. He can fly, but then he starts thinking about his depressive thoughts and comes crashing to the ground. It was interesting that it kind of resembled, like he described it almost of what it's like to be bipolar, right? Like he's like, I have highs where I feel really good, and then there's lows where I feel really bad. Which is always a slippery slope to kind of use superhero mental illness comparisons because it could be a poor representation. Did that stick out to you at all?
No, because Tony Stark has really bad anxiety. Loki has abandonment issues. Thor has daddy. Like everybody kind of has all of that.
They just
And
really
I
lean
think
into it
for
here.
this one, they really leaned into it, and I
That's
think
like
we're
the
just not
definition
used
of a hero, you know?
to it. Yeah.
I sure. I think I
It
think
is.
it
It's
is.
to
Yeah.
like put everything aside and to, you know, whatever you've got going on.
They're
Yeah.
still
So
gonna have
once
their inner turmoil and they're gonna overcome it to still put that aside and like
Yeah.
take care of business.
but I mean that is the focus of this movie because
Yeah.
Bob
I think it's just
becomes
because we're
Sentry.
not used to it being displayed the way they did it
Yeah, I think
that
it
we're a
just
little
I think
bit.
maybe because it's Marvel, it just came off slightly corny. Like it wasn't a disaster and just totally cheesy. Like I could see it warranted and worked somewhat,
Hold
but
on one
just
second. Hold on one second. Hold on. Somebody's calling. I don't want it to be an emergency.
housekeeping part 2. Jen, don't bother me when I'm cleaning my room.
Hello? Hello? I said don't disturb me when I'm cleaning my room!
When I'm vacuuming my room,
When I'm
right?
vacuuming my room. What was I saying? I don't even know what I was saying.
No, you were just kind of saying how it kind of felt like
A
in your
little.
face a little
Yeah,
bit,
yeah, a
you know.
little bit. But I did like the idea of like Sentry turning into the void and like the darkness of depression kind of just spreading and evaporating people away, which didn't kill them. It just sent them to
Into the
reflect in their
void.
darkest, like
Yeah.
depressive. So let's talk about it. Adrian, what's your most depressing, traumatic memory? No, I'm just kidding.
Sir, what?
Just
I had to like wrench my brain real quick. Like,
no,
wait
no,
a
no.
minute.
You don't
I
gotta
wasn't
go there. It's
prepared for
okay.
that.
Yeah. No, it's
Like
okay.
this is supposed to be a fun podcast.
Yeah, we won't send you to the void. Just kidding.
But you know,
But
now that you say that, it kind of it sparked me to change our double feature that we had picked because
okay.
it immediately made me think of why I didn't like it. Why I preferred something different, and it's not Suicide Squad. It's
Okay.
Megamind. It's exact same concept from the movie Megamind, and Megamind did it way better.
Are we fast forwarding the double features?
Well,
I
I'll
can't.
mention it again in double features. But yeah,
Sneak peek.
Megamind
Okay.
is the exact same concept, you know, like he's the ultra villain and he needs you know, a superhero to compete against because he already took out the old one. But he didn't really take out the old one.
You saying that reminded me, and I kind of talked about Mysterio in the Spider-Man movie. A lot of what was happening reminded me of that. That like you're seeing a reality that isn't there. The difference is one with the void is like I guess you're actually in your thought, whereas Mysterio, it's just drones projecting an illusion. So it was different, but it was like catty corner to each other. So that might have took me out a little before.
Mysterio was definitely an illusionist
Yeah, for
and
sure.
used technology to help benefit him.
Yeah, 100%. But just
Yeah.
because like that bit of removing someone from reality, it hit me like, oh, we kind of saw
Yeah.
this before. But I did like the idea of the void. I do like the way like the people were just like shadowed out. Super cool concept. But that group hug was like, oh, this is the Breakfast Club version of Marvel. This is Marvel's Breakfast Club, which it's not the
Yeah.
worst thing. It's not the best thing. So that brings us to our Commodus scale then. Adrian, on the Commodus scale, thumbs up, even or down? Even for Adrian. Erica,
Even.
you're going
It's actually crazy. I'm gonna go even too.
even. Wow, I'm
Yeah.
even as well.
Oh.
I thought I was going to be the only even. And I think here's the thing: it's a fine movie. It's perfectly fine.
That's a great word to explain it. Just
I
fine.
and unfortunately, the bar has been lowered to just fine to be a success, and that's Thunderbolts.
That's funny because like I feel like every guy that you ask, like, "Hey, is there anything wrong?" and they're really depressed, that's what they say. Like, "Yeah, I'm fine."
Sure. So it's all Inception and meant to be like a fine movie because that's fine. Okay, double features. Adrian, you talked about yours a little bit there with Megamind. Anything else you want to speak to it?
No, Megamind is spot on. Creating their own superhero that ends up being a bad guy, just because he's a dirtball. Like, spot on.
And that's animated with Will Ferrell, Tina Fey, Jonah Hill, Brad Pitt, David Cross, Justin Theroux, Ben Stiller. Wow, what a cast.
It's
J.K.
a good movie.
Simmons.
You haven't seen it, Mikey?
No.
Oh,
Bro, I don't have kids. When am I gonna watch Megamind?
You have god kids.
And I'm still waiting.
Children that you should be watching movies with.
I'm still waiting to get penciled in to have a FaceTime movie night. But
hey, instead of showing my young kid Donnie Darko, you should be showing him Megamind.
Equally as important.
He could be showing you Megamind, but you're showing him Donnie Darko.
Right. We're supposed to learn from the youth, not the other way around.
I'm doing my best. By the way, Donnie Darko is going to be showing in theaters up here, so if you guys want to make a family trip, I'll be watching that one again.
I cannot.
Okay, double feature recommendation. Erica, what do you have for this?
This one's tricky because it's a Marvel movie, right? And so there's nothing really like after. It's the newest Marvel movie, so there's nothing really after it that you can watch to get like the complete story and kind of get everything. So I'm just actually going to recommend another Marvel movie, and since we've been talking about Sinners, we'll go ahead and make it a Ryan Coogler film. I'm just gonna recommend the first Black Panther. Just if you want to like round out, a Marvel day, why not do a really good Marvel movie that was really well done? The characters were well developed throughout the film, and get good story from it.
Is it your favorite Marvel movie?
No.
What is your favorite?
Let's see. Okay, wait, hold on. Is it?
I get so much heat for any of my answers.
Hold on. It's not Infinity War or Endgame. Because you have a hot take favorite, right? Is that safe to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see if you can guess it. Okay.
So you're gonna see the way you are. You're gonna be like Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire. But are we not?
No,
are we
because
just
that's not.
Just MCU. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
I was gonna say like Ant-Man or something.
No. Maybe like Thor Ragnarok because you like Taika Waititi. Yeah. See, there we go.
Thor Ragnarok. Yeah. But it's not because I like Taika. It's because I like seeing Loki's arc.
Sure.
I like seeing his arc to come back from Sakaar. And then I don't think have you either of you seen the shows?
Mm-mm. That's why
in my very humble, very only personal opinion, Loki has the best character arc out of all of the characters that have been in the MCU.
Well, he's coming back apparently, so.
Huh?
He's coming back apparently, so his
They're
arc
trying
isn't.
to, so that's gonna be part of the plot in Doomsday, is because of Loki's role after the shows, he's gonna need to be
Before
in
I get to
that.
my double feature, you just reminded me of something. I hate how we fucking know everything before a movie comes out. For example, the end credit scene in this movie
Okay.
should have hit like a fucking ton of bricks. But we already know the Fantastic Four is coming, so when we see the ship, again, it's like, okay, we already know. Whereas if we didn't know the Fantastic Four,
Hold on a second, because the importance of it is to correlate it
to the next
with
movie.
which Earth it's happening on.
Okay, cool.
Because if it exists on the certain Earth that the rest of the films are happening, that means that those characters can come back. That I'm trying to tell you, you need to you can't be upset about this because it's all a setup. All of it.
You're misunderstanding me. What I'm saying is Fantastic Four, X-Men. These are the two big Marvel saviors on deck. And what I'm getting at is we already know who's cast for what. Like in this day and age, we just know so much. Think of when Jurassic Park came out. We didn't know shit. We just knew it was a dinosaur movie and we had to see it. And then you see it and you're just
alive when the first Jurassic Park came out.
let me tell you when I had to read it at the newspaper to get the movie times.
That's why he has to go to like the IMAX because his glasses don't focus right.
Yeah,
and he has to turn up his hearing aid.
Gotta have everything max volume.
Yeah.
Turn this to 11. But no, but
Sorry
I mean,
to do that to you.
I guess just my point being that like if we didn't know any of that, and then here comes the end credit, and it's the fucking Fantastic Four,
Yeah,
like
so
how
you're
fucking
saying
awesome
that
that would
we
have been.
shouldn't have seen any
Trailer yet.
trailers or anything for Fantastic Four.
Now
and
the
just been
trailers should be coming out. Like now would be great
hit
because I
with
think the movie comes
credits.
out
I
next
see what
month.
you mean.
Yeah.
That's kind
Anyways.
of how it used to be.
Yeah. When
That's what it
we
is.
had good movies and good experiences.
So Mikey, what's your double feature?
My double feature is a movie that has 2.2 star average on Letterboxd. It is also a comic book movie, but it's not from DC or Marvel. And just like Julia Louis-Dreyfus, if I said her name right.
Yeah, Louis-Dreyfus.
Thank you, Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
Thank you.
The villain was not well cast.
So when you say villain, what do you mean? Because I thought
no, hold on.
John Leguizamo was perfect.
No. So what I was trying to say is I wasn't impressed with Julia Louis-Dreyfus as like her being the villain.
Gotcha.
As her as the villain, and that in Spawn, Martin Sheen is a villain, and his acting is kind of miscast in that too. And that movie is Spawn. So Spawn is a fucking deep cut comic character that I've been riding with from the beginning. Michael J.
That
White
one might have came out before you were born too.
Before Erica was born.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Spawn was 1997.
No,
what are you?
I was born. I was 11.
You were what, like 2?
I was 11. I was 3.
You were like 2?
That's 3.
Okay.
Oh, good God. Yeah. So Spawn, I would recommend with this movie because it is a darker story. It is about an anti-hero. Spawn's origin story is right here. He essentially is backstabbed by the CIA, killed, makes a deal with the devil to lead the devil's army if he can make it back on Earth to see his wife. Makes it back on Earth to see his wife. She's married to her best friend.
No, to his partner.
To his partner, his best friend, his partner. Fucked up. Like, what a fucking origin story. Let's go. I might turn it on tonight. So I'd recommend Spawn.
John Leguizamo's the clown, the evil clown.
Our boy.
Villain. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the acting, some of the CGI is of its time, but what a if you want a dark
movie.
You want a dark comic story, Spawn.
From that movie, how long was he away from his wife?
Oh, like how much time passed?
So like what do you guys think is an appropriate amount of time?
So I'll tell you.
So
go ahead, Adrian.
The appropriate amount of time had passed, but not for me.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
yeah,
like
yeah.
years had gone by, like from the time he
So
had passed away, the time he
has his daughter.
recovers and goes.
They have a daughter together, right? And
Uh-huh.
I believe the daughter is like an infant toddler when he's dead, and then she's probably about 6
7
or
years old,
7.
maybe.
So like, let's say like 5 years have passed. I want to say. And you're saying is that so? Is
Can't
that
be
enough
happy
time for you?
your wife? They probably found comfort in each other for the fact that you're dead.
No way. Erica, let's get real here for a second. That's like if Adrian died and I got with Rosalind in 5 years. Absolutely not.
Yeah, no way.
So I'm fucking getting sweaty just
I
thinking
get what
about
you're
that.
saying.
That's
Like
gross.
some part of like the noble guy wants to be like, yeah, I'll take care of her, bro. Like, don't worry.
The noble guy.
But no, like
Not even like
being
it.
that side of it, like, nah, it's cool. Just leave her alone.
Not
She's got it.
even
I picked the good one. Like, she can
not even
handle.
like a take no, not even like a take care of each other type of thing. More of just like you both lost somebody so important to you, and then like you
So a trauma
yeah.
bond, you're brought together from a. Is that
Hey,
healthy?
Like a fear
if
boner?
they
No
can both
thanks.
live a
A
happy and
fear
healthy
bond.
life after that, who am I to I'm dead. Like, oh,
That's tough.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
That's a part of the spawn. That's a part of spawn, is because a part of you as the viewer is like, hey man, like that's your partner and he's a good dude. Wouldn't you rather your family be taken care of by a good dude? He's the hero in it. And at the same time, like Spawn is upset. Like it's his own inner turmoil that he's jealous and like frustrated about it,
yeah,
and that
well,
she didn't wait for him longer. But at the end, the whole point is that he's the hero and he overcomes that to save the world and have her be with him. Like,
It's great. Go watch
yeah,
Spawn.
it's
I'm gonna have
deep.
to go watch
I
it.
didn't
Deep.
know. I didn't know I was gonna get so much action on this Spawn
This is
wreck, but it's
Spawn
great.
is why the trauma that comes from Spawn is the reason why you have characters like the Void just poofing everybody into
Sure.
depression.
Sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
Excellent double feature, Mike. Way to go.
Shut up,
Yeah, that
Mike.
was a good call. That was a good call.
Fuck you.
Okay, we have to draft stock before this podcast gets any longer. So let me get our wonderful wheel here. We need to add Adrian because he went first last time, apparently.
Erica.
And like I told you guys, I lost my goddamn archive of all of our picks. So I think I can write Google support
Yeah,
and
because
be like,
that's what
hey.
I was gonna ask. Have I already drafted Sebastian Stan?
So
Yeah.
that's what
Okay,
made me
yeah,
think of
so
it. I
then
was
we're
getting
cool.
So you took Sebastian Stan, so he's off
He's
the
off-
board. You
He's
have
off the
him, so
board.
Yeah.
Erica, you got Sebastian Stan.
Yeah,
His
yeah,
stock is up.
Yes.
Way to go! Congratulations. And let me get to our wheel. All right, drafting first for this
Erica.
movie. Let's get rid of that.
Erica.
There we go.
Erica.
If you're listening on the podcast, watch on YouTube or Spotify. Erica, what the fuck? First.
Set
All
your
right, let's remove her.
intentions and good things will come your way.
Yeah, manifest this. There you go. Great. I get last again. Great. All right. Well,
Baby.
Erica, you get to draft stock from this movie. You have quite the cast, another robust cast that we can choose from. Where are you going?
As much as I would really like to have Julia Louis-Dreyfus on my list because
After I just shit on her.
I love her. Love her. I also love when she plays a bitch because I think she just does such a good job at it. Like she really
She's a natural.
she's a natural. She just like, it like when you have like dirt under your nails, like that's how she feels. Like she gets in there and it's hard to get her out. But I am
That's
gonna
fair.
go with my gal Florence Pugh. I could
Naturally.
not have her.
That's
She's
fair.
just I mean, and watching her whole like press tour for Thunderbolts has been like such a highlight because she's absolutely hilarious and people love her. She's so personable. She's just like such a joy to watch.
I like Florence. Like I said, I'll watch Little Women. I'll check it out. You watch Spawn, and we'll share notes next episode. Adrian, you have the second pick. Who are you taking?
That's tough.
I mean, listen, you got a good. Oh, another thing to mention that just came out is, and I'm kind of fearful about this, is it's now rumored that the director of Thunderbolts, Jake Shearer, is rumored to be the director for the new X-Men movie.
Mm.
Could get
I
behind that. You just have
but anyways,
this is the fucking problem, right? Hold on, I'm gonna go on a real fucking quick tirade.
quick
Well,
tangent.
so we had Deadpool and Wolverine, which, you know, what the fuck? Like,
Had a
are
good
we
time.
getting the combination of X-Men into this universe? It needs to happen quicker than what they're doing, because it's gonna you're gonna have all of these things that come out, and then we're finally gonna get the X-Men being incorporated into the MCU, and people aren't gonna care anymore because there's so much
Right.
other shit going on. They should have
People are
done it
gonna
with
care about the
Multiverse
X-Men.
of Madness. They should have stuck to the comics, and they should have let the Scarlet Witch expose all of the X-Men at the very end of the movie. Bam.
I don't think listen, it is overdue, but I don't think there's never going to be not an interest in X-Men. And you got to watch the fucking X-Men 97 to hold you over, because that shit's great, the animated
The
show.
animated.
It is.
It's fucking great. Adrian, go ahead. Who are you going with?
I'm gonna go Wyatt Russell.
Wyatt Russell. Wow,
Nice.
look at the
I'm gonna go Wyatt
nepo.
Russell.
I like it.
I'm a Kurt Russell fan. I've actually seen a few of the things Wyatt's been in already. Mainly he had a show called Monarch that he was like one of the leads in with his dad Kurt Russell, and I really enjoyed it. So it was cool.
You
I'll
watched the
take
whole
Russell.
show?
Yeah.
Love that they got him to just play a younger Kurt Russell. Like, it's just,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
so glad somebody's doing it, because there's the new Suzanne Collins book that they're gonna adapt into a movie in the Hunger Games series. And they wanna I love you, Ray Fiennes, like, but you should not be playing Snow, President Snow. You literally have Kiefer Sutherland right there, who would be at the appropriate age to play him, and his dad killed it. They're both great actors. I love when they get a son or a daughter to play the younger version. I think it's just so great.
Is this Harry Potter talk? I got lost somewhere there.
No, it is not Harry
No,
Potter.
it's
Who's
Hunger
Kiefer
Games
Sutherland's?
talk, but it is
Oh,
kind of in
Hunger
tune
Games.
with
right.
Harry Potter, because Ray Fiennes has already played a big villain in a franchise movie, so it's like, it's kind of
Did you
annoying.
see Erica? I stopped at platform 9 1/8 or whatever the fuck it is. What's it called?
9
What platform do you go to? Yeah.
9 3/4.
What a sham! What a sham it is. Let me just say, you got there's a
Yeah,
line
I
to take a
heard.
picture with it, and they're selling like
And
the
it's like
picture,
a
like you can't just take
small
a picture.
little thing, yeah.
And right next to it is a fucking gift shop, and it's like, oh, this is all
Well,
fucking
the cool
crap.
thing is
Anyways,
I'll be in Scotland this summer, so I'll be able to see some of the spots in Edinburgh.
drafting stock. Yeah, I'm gonna take Lewis Pullman. I mean, come on. You can do so many. He can just follow his dad's footsteps, or he's already been in Top Gun, like I said. He's going to be in Doomsday, so we know he's in the Marvel universe for a while. And I'm curious to see what kind of movies he does. Is he going to go the action route? Is he going to do some romantic movies? You know, his dad was able to do
He'd
both.
be such a
President of the
cute
United
little
States.
romantic comedy guy. He'd be perfect.
I could see it. I could see it for sure. Spaceballs, the trilogy, you know, or the
movie?
sequel. Yeah. So yeah, I'll take Lewis. Let's see how he does. Nepotism at its finest.
We love
with
a
2
nepo
draft picks
baby.
and then Florence Pugh. Thunderbolts. Would you recommend it? Let's put it there. Is it even thumb
I
recommending
would recommend
material?
it to select audiences.
Yeah, that's fair.
People that are into Marvel.
If
Yeah,
you're into
I would
Marvel,
recommend
if
it to
you're
my
looking
son
for just
Anthony,
kind of like,
not my son Adrian.
yeah, if you're just looking for like a
Yeah,
fun
okay.
time, want to go to the movie, want to see a superhero movie, yeah, go see it.
Also, I didn't like that. Oh, go ahead.
It's a good makeout movie, like for teenagers. Like, just go to the movies, make out. You don't really got to pay attention to anything.
Bro, they're over here talking about depression and in their feelings and turning into a void, and you're like, oh yeah, let's make it.
That's hilarious.
Fair enough. Thank you guys for listening to this week's episode of Seeing This. Catch us on our socials and on our website, Seeing This Pod. You can listen and watch where, Adrian?
Spotify.
Wow, that's a long delay there. Gonna have to fix that. Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, we're everywhere. I met some people in England, got some new subscribers to the pod. Shout out to you guys if you're listening. They got me into a Champions League match between PSG and Arsenal. I
Yeah,
just happened
fuck
to go up
you,
there.
dude. Like,
Dude,
fuck you on like a whole nother fucking level, dude. When I saw those pictures, I was like, this motherfucker.
well, the best part is because I'm not an Arsenal
I
fan. I like
know.
City.
I know.
I went up to the stadium like well before the game was starting just to check it out, just to be like, oh, I'm just gonna go. I'm in London. I gotta go see the stadium. And then I went to the pub where the Arsenal supporters are at, and you need to have a ticket to get in, like even to the pub. And the lady there is like, oh, you know, do you have a ticket? I'm like, oh, no, I don't. I was just hoping to get a drink and enjoy the match. She heard my accent. Oh, where are you from, love? Oh, I'm from California. Oh, well, you brought the good weather. Come on in. I go in. So now one victory. I'm in the bar. I'm just going on good vibes there early. Start drinking San Miguel beer. I've missed that so much. God, I love Europe and the Philippines where I got introduced to it. Anyways, start talking with people. And these guys come up and like, oh, yeah, I tell them how like, oh, yeah, I was hoping to go find someone and buy a ticket. But, oh, we have an extra ticket. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, just use this QR code. For real? Yeah. Got into a Champions League semifinal.
Get
Fucking incredible.
fucked, dude. Get fucked. I cannot describe. Like, I'm very happy for you, obviously. Like, obviously, like, I'm actually really excited that you gotta go, and that was probably like the coolest fucking thing ever. But I fucking saw that picture, and I was like, that bastard. It was like the first thing. I was like, motherfucker. That was probably the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, it was super dope. And just to see how things work there, like you
Yeah.
can't drink at your seat. Like you can't drink at your seat. You have to drink before and at halftime in the concourse.
Yeah.
What?
And then not only,
Why?
but here's the good side, Adrian.
Doesn't
Is
matter,
if you
Adrian.
get
You're
there,
still sloshed.
yeah. The gate from when the gates open until a half hour before the game, the beers are 2 for $1. So it's like $7 for 2 beers.
Nice.
Again, the catch is you got to drink in the concourse, but they get, you know, what a treat.
Beers at
What
that
a
point.
treat.
Bro, that is so fucking sick.
Yeah,
So
it was
sick.
great. It was
I'm
great.
very happy for you. That's
And the Paris supporters were right under me, and they were loud as fuck, like way louder than Arsenal.
Oh, no.
That made it even better.
Insane fans.
Yeah. And the Gunners just got eliminated yesterday from that tournament from PSG. Love to see it. But thank you guys for listening. That's not what you're here for. Check us out next week. We don't know what we're doing yet, but we'll keep you informed on the socials, so make sure to follow.
I know
like,
what we're
subscribe,
doing, Michael.
become part of our
You and I
tribe.
actually might have to deep dive into Fantastic Planet because I just recommended it to a friend, and I think we need to like maybe get him in on.
We need to talk more about it. I got it back here. We got my Fantastic Planet. Excellent. Well, check out all the movies we talked about. Check out all of our episodes. Subscribe. Tell your friends. It's a good time here. But until the next episode, Dr. Dre, shout out. Stay safe.